Now let's take a moment and talk about digital signatures. A digital signature is like a normal signature when you go to a store and have to sign the credit card slip. A lot of similarities. Basically, it identifies the person signing the document. But a digital signature is more difficult to forge because it contains encrypted information. Sometimes digital signatures are also referred to as approval signatures, and in a PDF can also be called certifying signatures. Only the first person to sign the PDF, that's usually the author of the document, can add a certifying signature, but other people can add approval signatures to attest that they have read the document. Now, in order to get an encrypted digital signature in Adobe Acrobat, you do need to work with a digital signature provider such as Solanas or CIC, which provides the needed plug-in to Acrobat for you to be able to do that. And what happens is this plugin that these companies provide create the embedded encryption that is needed to identify the signature as belonging to that person and that person alone. You can almost think of it as adding the DNA to the signature, so it can only be associated with the signer. So here we're looking at a document, and we would like to add a signature. So I'm going to show you what happens when you first do that. We can go up here to our toolbar and select the drop-down menu by Sign. And we're going to start with Place Signature. And Acrobat tells us, okay, click and draw on the screen where you'd like it. Let's put ours just right smack dab here in the middle. And a dialog box opens up, which will give us the instructions we need to get that digital signature created. And we have some options here. We can browse for an existing digital ID, configure a roaming ID for use on this computer, create a self-signed digital ID for use with Acrobat, or look for newly inserted hardware tokens. And let's just go ahead, since we don't have one in here already, and create, and say next. And it's asking us where would we like to store it on our hard drive. And I'm going to go ahead and go with the default option. And here you need to add your information and say next. Give it a file name. We can choose to have a password, which is a good idea. So we'll go ahead and create a password here. And here you can see we have our digital signature. If we want to add it to this document, we put in our password and sign. Now notice that Acrobat is asking us to save the document. We're going to go ahead and do that. And it says, okay, this document already exists. Do you really want to do this? Now note here, if you did not want to overwrite the original document, we'll say no for a moment. You could change the name here. Your original would then stay intact and you'd have a copy with your signature. So you want to think before you hit that save button. And notice here we have a signature. Now when I click on it, look what happens. We get a signature validation status that yes, indeed, this signature is valid, signed by Missy in HR. It has not been modified since the signature was applied, and the document is signed by the current user. So you can see how this leaves you with an electronic trail of who's been messing with this document. Now let's take a moment and look at the properties. You can look at all of the different information pertaining to the signature, and also notice that you get a legal notice from Adobe, giving the reader some basic information about digital signature use.